I'm talking about Amari Cooper. You love to hate him, don't you? Sometimes you hate to love him, I guess. Last year, you kind of hated to love him because he did come on despite your best wishes, I guess, or your worst wishes for him. He came on pretty decent. But that was with Jacoby Brissett. And the Browns were interesting last year because their damn new quarterback was out until week 13, I believe it was, when Deshaun Watson finally came back. And when Deshaun Watson did come back, he looked bad. He looked like somebody who hadn't played football in 2 years because he hadn't played football in 2 years. And so Amari Cooper, along with the rest of the team, suffered for that in terms of fantasy production. And Amari Cooper's splits were devastating, honestly, with Watson versus without. There was about a 5-point PPR difference per week. He had twice the touchdown rate with Jacoby Brissett as he did with Sean Watson. That's as much a knock against Watson as it is a kudos for Brissett, I think, for actually handling that offense incredibly well. But it's not even just the quarterback situation this year that gives me a little bit of pause. Yeah, Deshaun Watson could come back after a full off season and practicing with the guys, and maybe he looks like his old self. And that'll be great. But there is a little bit of a concern for Elijah Moore being added. I know a lot of people have written him off. He got brought over from the Jets this offseason. The Jets did not like Elijah Moore last year. They loved him the year before, and he looked great for them the year before. He could very well be this offense's Will Fuller. If we want to use old analogies from Watson's time with the Texans, I think that he could be the Will Fuller type. That leaves a little bit of uncertainty for Amari Cooper. I mean, maybe probably a lot more for Donovan Peoples-Jones, who people were expecting to break out even further this year. But that also just gives me cautious about Cooper. They're still a run-heavy offense at heart, I think. And so Nick Chubb ain't going anywhere. Amari Cooper's draft capital hopefully doesn't make him too risky, but I still think there's a pretty decent risk that he is the 800 to 900 yard guy with a few touchdowns, as opposed to the 1,000+ yard, 130 target guy that we would expect hypothetically for him to be this year.
Now, with Deshaun Watson being back, played part of the year last year, full offseason in this offense, do you expect this offense to take a step forward and maybe change their philosophy a little bit? I know they've traditionally been more of a run-heavy offense, the Kevin Stefanski offense. Nick Chubb is getting another year older. He is on his second contract and kind of hitting that fantasy age cliff. Do you expect them maybe to move towards more of a more pass heavy offense and less of the run, considering they have that quarterback now that can throw the ball, is accurate downfield, like I said, has another offseason in this playbook and working out with the players and all that other stuff that we love?
It's the hope. It's the dream scenario is that exactly plays out. And it absolutely could play out that way. But with his downfield accuracy too, the other thing is is that really going to be, is Amari Cooper going to be his downfield guy if that's how things shake out?
I'm just saying, maybe not downfield, but I mean, he is a more accurate quarterback, So, Kareem Hunt is gone. Say what you will about Dearness Johnson. He went to Jacksonville. So it's there's not that depth behind Nick Chubb right now, which probably means they'll draft someone later or a couple guys. But I think what made that offense work is that they had that kind of 1-2 punch with Chubb and Hunt that they could rely on those guys more. And let's be honest, the quarterbacks they've had there didn't really inspire confidence of them being able to take that, shoulder the team and lead them down the field. And it's nothing against Brissett or Baker or, any other litany of quarterbacks that
it's a little bit about
there.
Baker.
It's
a little bit against him.
So it's just, now that they have someone much more accomplished at the helm with a lot more ability, it'll be interesting to see if this offense changes. And if so, I think Cooper, you could expect the same type of season that he had last year.
Yeah, and I think that is the reward that you hope for with a guy like him. So that's why, again, I just think it's tumultuous, but yeah, the upside is 1000% there for him.
Yeah, and I think he's someone I'll probably be going after in redraft this year because I don't think the hype is going to be there. And he finished top 10 last year. Um, and for good reason, people have been down on him. I've had my ups and downs with him too. I've been on that roller coaster, but I'm also not afraid to change my opinion. And he's someone, especially if his price stays a little deflated come redraft, he's someone I will probably end up buying into just based off the season he had last year with the quarterback that he was playing with for most of the season.
Nice. Well, I look forward to our roles reversing on Amari Cooper here, as they were definitely polar opposites a couple of a few years ago, but
Mhm.
it's good. We can change. We can adapt.